What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 13 of the CBR Show. With me, as always, is Bill. Bill, good afternoon. How are you?
What's up, everybody? And by always, he means when Brody's not here taking my job. But that's okay.
Oh, dude, let it go.
We love Brody. The Brody jokes are jokes. That's all they are. If I see him in the street, tell him to cross the street.
Hey, all I'm saying is that he was inexpensive replacement, you know? He worked for free. He's just happy to be on the CBR Show, unlike some people who can't make it all
That's
the time.
like me. I'm just happy to be here with my buddy Murph.
Oh,
What are we gonna talk about?
man. Exciting. Well, we're going to talk about what we always talk about, and that's sports and entertainment. And I'm going to start off with a little football and then go into some of these baseball signings. The winter meetings have been going on for MLB, and that means big players signing big contracts. And I want to get your... Yeah, hot stove. So first, let's go with NFL. It was a pretty crazy week in the NFL. Jimmy Garoppolo went down with an ankle injury. I felt this pain because I had him in fantasy football as my starter. Last minute, swapped out Jimmy G for Dak, thinking that Jimmy G was going to kind of thread the needle in those pesky Dolphin defense, get me some points. He got me 2.8 points and went out with a broken foot. Now, they said he might be done for the season, but then there's a chance that he could come back. However, I know everybody's worried about how I did in fantasy with no quarterback. I won. All my other players killed it.
Wow.
So I was carrying me over the finish line, victory by like 20 points.
Where are you sitting in your fantasy leagues?
Another major injury here in Baltimore is Lamar Jackson with a PCL strain.
I didn't hear about this one.
Injury. He's got a knee injury. I was at the game. We took my daughter to our first game. It was very mellow, offense was kind of blah.
Yeah.
Wasn't a lot of scoring. We were losing almost the whole game, and we won in the final minute. It was very exciting. She had a blast. Everybody had a good time. But Lamar is hurt, and Huntley came in. Huntley came in, and I like Huntley better than Lamar right now because he was 27 for 32, and he had the game-winning drive. It's so refreshing to see a quarterback complete passes. Lamar is very inaccurate.
Well, here in Philly, my favorite McNabb ran, but we had McNabb and then we had Vic, and it felt like McNabb got less and less accurate, and I just needed, some accuracy is my favorite thing about a quarterback. If I had to put them in order, accuracy, intelligence,
well, I
good
mean,
legs.
There's all these rumors that the offense has been essentially, and I hate using this word, but dumbed down for Lamar because he couldn't manage a whole playbook. And I'm wondering if that's hurting us offensively because there's only so many plays that he can do. And if other defenses, these guys are getting paid millions of dollars to play defense. So that's all they're doing is studying game film, knowing how to pressure him, knowing where to try and push him, and forcing him to make these inaccurate passes. I don't think Lamar is coming back as a Ravens quarterback. If he does, like I said, if he does not win the Super Bowl, Lamar will not be back in the purple and black. There you go.
I think that might be a safe
rhymes.
assumption.
All right.
You want him
Let's
back.
move on to I just threw my paper. Spreads. Tonight is Thursday. Well, today is Thursday, so we have the Raiders-Rams. Rams are at home, but Raiders are favored 6.5 points.
6.5.
Now, they've won, I think, their last 3 games. Maybe 4. Last 3. Raiders. David Carr finally turning the corner. Who do you got? Raiders or Rams? -6.5. Or plus
Rams
6.5.
just signed a new quarterback, a new hot young quarterback, Baker Mayfield.
Yes, Baker.
What's up with the Rams quarterback? Is Stafford hurt?
Stafford's out.
I didn't pay much attention this weekend. I guess Mayfield might play, not tonight, but might play in the future.
I guess he's the backup right now. It would be my
Manziel
guess.
not available? Where's Johnny Manziel?
Johnny Manziel is probably in rehab somewhere.
Somebody called
I
Geno
love
Smith.
Johnny
he's
Manziel.
working.
Johnny Manziel, he was exciting. He He did not look like an athlete, but he was. It was so weird. But
I'm not forgetting what happened.
Speaking of Baker Mayfield, and maybe I'll add this to greatest sports moments. When we those videos we do on YouTube, check them out.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield got leveled by a police officer. Probably one of the hardest hits he's ever took. He was walking, and there was I forget what he was either drunk or there was a report of vandalism or something, and the cops went to stop him, and he took off, and this cop just bam, and it's all on camera. So I will find that and we'll upload it this week as a great sports moment.
How many years ago was
This is when he was at Oklahoma, I believe.
Oh.
Or where? No, was he at Oklahoma? He was at Oklahoma, wasn't he?
I believe so, yeah. Baker Mayfield. Oh, Johnny Manziel? Baker Mayfield.
No, I'm talking about Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
All right. Rams Raiders, -6.5. You didn't give me one.
Rams will cover the spread.
All right, so you're saying Rams plus 6.5.
It's not sexy, but...
Yeah, no, I kind of feel like the Raiders play to everybody's speed. I'm with you. Take Rams plus 6.5.
What do you got over? 43.5 over? What do you think?
Dude, I'm going... Yeah, shootout. Raiders defense isn't that good.
I didn't have my mic near me. I apologize to anybody if the sound wasn't great. I'm sure it'll be fine. But here's my mic now.
I can hear you just fine. All right, we got Bengals, Browns. Last game was close. This game, they're saying Bengals -6. What say you, Bill?
Browns beat Tampa Bay. Who's not that great? How about the heroics? Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the Browns. I'll go Bengals. What's the spread you said?
-6.
Let's have Bengals tear them. No.
Yeah,
all right, I'll go Browns. That's my Costanza right there. Browns.
All right, I'm going Bengals -6.
Nope.
Bengals -6. With Sean Watson is struggling. He was booed. He's not going to play well. Bengals, they're heating up. They're getting hot like they did last year. Bengals -6. Bengals roll by 2 touchdowns. That's what I say. I'm going to write that down. All right, Detroit. Here's the trap game. Here is the trap game. If you are gambling, this game just screams. It just stands out to me that there's something going on here. Detroit at home, -2 against the Vikings. They're saying the Vikings are getting points against Detroit.
I say Vikings. Vikings -2.
That's what everybody says. It's Vikings +2. It's Vikings +2. They're giving the Vikings points. It's a trap.
Jeez, Vikings.
It is a trap.
What's wrong with the Vikings?
I don't know what's wrong with the Vikings. They just beat who they beat? New England on Thanksgiving. They just beat the Jets, and then you're telling me Detroit at home is favored -2? Seems like a trap to me. So I'm going Detroit -2. I'm not buying the trap. Detroit wins.
All right, Detroit. You heard it here.
What are you saying, Bill?
I said Vikings.
Okay.
Spread's telling you something?
It's telling me that this is a trap. All right, baseball news. Lots of big signings. One, we'll start with you guys. Trey Turner, 11-year deal.
Phillies.
$300 million. He came to the Phillies. He's coming to your Phillies.
Turned down more money from the Padres to come to our Phils.
He did, but you know who didn't turn down more money from the Padres? Xander Bogaerts. He just signed today. 11 years, $280 million.
Well, the Red Sox have a little bit, it's tough to lose him, but they have a new signing. You should always read these names before you go, but I can do this one. Masataka Yoshida. I think I did it.
Yeah.
5-year deal from Japan.
Baseball.
Yep, what's that?
It's a big gamble. He batted like
29 years old.
347.
He did this last year. Let's see. Corner outfielder Yoshida hit .335 with 21 home runs, 80 walks, and 41 strikeouts and 508 plate appearances. They didn't say home runs. I'm sure we could find that out.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's a good hitter. I think his overall average was like 347 during all the time that he was in the Japan League. I forget what it's called. It's like NBO or something league, whatever it is. But yeah, good hitter. Let's see how that translates over to the Major League Baseball. Big risk for the. It's a gamble for the Red Sox, but it could pay off. All right, so other big. Well, there was.
Japanese guys.
Go ahead.
Should I go?
Needs to play. Yes.
Yeah. How many of these Japanese guys didn't pan out? Probably not many. I mean, of course, we can't answer that without looking it up, but.
Oh, man, we would have to look it up. But the Cubs just signed what? What's his name? Last year, and he did okay, but he didn't. I mean, he started off great. He was like number one hitter in fantasy baseball the first 2 weeks, and then he just. But yeah, I mean, I always like the Japanese players coming over. I mean, Ohtani by far is he was he in the Korean Baseball League? or Japanese baseball league, whatever league he was in. He was crushing it, and he translated. That guy is just a pure athlete. If you ever get the chance to see him play live, I highly recommend it because he just looks like he's moving in slow motion and he's doing great things out there. But,
I wonder if here in America we'll stop discouraging our pitchers from going and getting a few extra swings. And we definitely have pitchers that can hit, and we beat it out of them. We don't let them hit until they can't hit anymore, is what I think.
Yeah, I just don't understand on a value perspective why a manager wouldn't want a dual player. I mean, you're paying. Let's say you're going to pay a guy $50 million to hit a ball, or you can pay a guy $50 million to pitch and hit, and he can do both.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The designated hitter would have been better for that. But hey, we still need people that can hit, pinch hit, ninth inning. If your pitcher can hit, what an advantage.
It'd be called pitch hit instead of pinch hit. Yes. Little play on words there. All right, other big contracts. I don't know if you ever heard of Arson Judge. Arson Judge signed with the Giants, and Aaron Judge signed with the New York Yankees. One of the big Twitter baseball reporters put out there that he typed in Arson Judge signing with the Giants. Then he had to retract it and say, I misspoke, I jumped the gun, and then Aaron Jones, who he meant to say, signed with the Yankees. 9 years, $360 million. Kenley Jansen signed with the Red Sox, $32 million, 2 years. Verlander, $86.66 million for 2 years to the Mets. But that's because the Mets lost DeGrom. He signed a 5-year deal for $185 million. Let's see, who else I got on here? And then we said Bogarts. Oh, and then here, this is the bargain deal, I think, of all the players that have signed recently. Mitch Haniger. Played for the Mariners, often injured. He signed 3 years, $43.5 million with the Giants.
I'm a big Mitch fan.
I feel like that one might pan out for the Giants. Like, they're going to get their money's worth. But, like, of all of these, I think that the one that stands out to me as being the worst deal is Bogarts, 11 years, $280 million. You know how old he'll be when he's done this contract? 41. And out of all those players, Bogarts, Judge, Haniger, Jansen, Verlander, Trey Turner, and DeGrom, which player, or how many of these players are under the age of 30?
I know DeGrom. No,
34.
Okay. Well, I know that Trey Turner is because I saw that.
Yep, Trey Turner is the only one. 29 years old. He is the only one. He will be 40 when his deal is up. Now, I mean, if you're getting... Well, that's the thing is that, and if you look this up, like baseball players hit their peak at like 30, 31, 32, and then it's all downward. So you're literally paying for... Some of these guys are already past the average like peak years for a Major League Baseball player. I mean, Verlander is a freak, and you know what you're getting with him.
Pitchers go a little longer, I feel like.
Yeah, DeGrom, okay. Like, I'm not against paying a good pitchers like this kind of money. Trey Turner, I agree. I mean, he's really good.
He'll be 40.
The Haniger deal makes sense to me, but paying Aaron Judge and Bogarts that kind of money for those amount of years just seems like a bust. I'm going to say this right now. The Bogarts deal is going to be a bust, and I'm glad the Orioles didn't sign him because I just think that he's going to be injured, and you're not going to get the production out of him that you would like.
I think everybody knows with these deals that toward the end it's going to be very everybody hates the player because he can't hit anymore, but he's making $48 million a year. They know that's going to end that way. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Here's two names out there that I think should be picked up. Brandon Nimmo, who we had on Fantasy Baseball. The guy runs full speed to first base. He hustles. He batted .274, 102 runs, 64 RBIs, 16 home runs last year. And then Matt Carpenter, we all saw what he did before he broke his foot with the Yankees. I feel like you can get him cheap and add him to your team. And if you're looking for pitching help, Johnny Cueto, still out there. He's an innings eater. He was 8-10 last year, 3.35 ERA and a 1.23 WHIP. Look at these stats, Bill. I came prepared today. Michael Wacha also out there, 11-2 last year. Did you know that? He was 11-2. He had a 3.32 ERA and a 1.12 WHIP. Sign these
Better
guys.
watch out for him. Ha!
That's it. I'm done. That's sports from Murph.
Woo!
Raiders,
All right.
Raiders, Bengals, Lions. Book it. Bing bong.
Let's book it up. Call your bookie. Let's have a switch here from sports. Let's flip it to pop culture. All right. Last time we mentioned that Taylor Swift is at odds with Ticketmaster, and there's all sorts. You probably know better, but we also covered that your wife has some Taylor Swift tickets. Is she still
Yep,
holding
and
on
we
to
are
those?
selling them now for $10,000. She doesn't know it, so it's going to be a surprise to her when she sees the money in her bank account, but she doesn't have Taylor Swift tickets.
Well, you stole my thunder. I sold mine too.
Oh.
Woo! 20K!
Oh, wow. Did that gun come with the ticket?
Woo! They're going for 20K though. Seriously.
Dude, why would you pay $20K to see a concert?
I have money all over my laptop. Oh well. Yeah, $20,000.
Now you know how rappers feel. Now you know how rappers feel. There's just money everywhere.
I know. They're just like, get this out of here. I told everybody no money on my keys.
Well, you know what they say, William. Mo money, mo problems.
That's what. Yeah. Rest in peace,
Now
Biggie.
we know. Now we know what song we're rolling the credits to.
Right. Only 15 seconds per YouTube rules. So
Correct.
I'm sure you heard about this kid that, whoopsie, found himself in the water. He was on a cruise ship, and then the next thing you know, he's in the water. You hear about this kid? He fell off a cruise ship.
What? Was the cruise ship stationary or was it moving?
Oh man, I have to tell you about this. So it was moving. I imagine once he fell in, he saw it. A huge thing just disappearing. He was in the water for 20 hours. Some animals tried to poke him. He kicked them away. He ate. He calls it sea. I forget what he called it. He ate like seaweed or kelp or something. He called it a sea stick. It was like those sticks that you find in the sea. He ate that, and then he was about to give up, and a ship found him.
Well, how old was this kid?
He was like early 20s. He was drunk, and he doesn't know how he got into the water. He says he woke up in the water, but I have some insight that maybe nobody else would have into this. So he was on a ship called the Carnival Valor. And in 2008, I took a cruise with some people we know, Nappy and John Lowe, on the Carnival Valor. And it was like a cheap cruise. We were kind of young back then. So we get on there, and it's just all America. Everything is America. I didn't look at the boat like, Betsy Ross is sewing the flag on the wallpaper. And it's just like, I'm on a tropical cruise, and it's America. And then the first night, we go see the comedian. And then it was like just a big scam to get you to the casino is what I came up with. Because it was a comedian one night. They had a dueling piano bar. One night it was open, and then it's just closed. And then it was like, oh, the casino's open, or like some random restaurant. So I think he jumped. I was thinking about jumping off this ship too.
Yeah, he just
Clientele.
had enough.
Oh man.
Well, maybe. That's got to be scary. Just the one minute you're on a cruise, next minute you're in the water, and you don't remember waking up in the water.
You ever see that movie Open Water? I think that's the one where they just can't. The boat's right there, and they just can't get back into their boat. They're in the water, and they have to like tread water with no life jackets.
Sharks come. Yeah, no, thank you.
Imagine how easy it'd be if you just had a life jacket on. Just float.
That's why they call it a life jacket.
Yeah. A couple more notes here. The Grateful Dead. I'm going to go see them. I think this summer. It's their last tour.
Man, you are putting in some serious concert work this year.
Well,
Who did you see the other day? You saw the band or something?
Yeah, the band was amazing. We'll talk about that someday. Did you ever see the Grateful Dead on tour? I have not.
No, I'm not a big Grateful Dead fan.
I'm not either, but when I saw the band, I decided, and I did want to see the Grateful Dead anyway, I decided maybe all this improvising stuff could be cool in concert if you had the right things in you. Systems.
Drugs.
Anyway, so this is a story about the Grateful Dead. Way back in 1992, apparently the Grateful Dead liked basketball. I would have never pictured that. And they heard that the Lithuanian team for the Olympics wasn't going to be able to go. They had just split from the USSR, Russia, who we know right now is giving Ukraine problems. And they didn't have enough money to go. So the Grateful Dead heard that they were looking for money. And they wrote them a big check. And they made them Lithuanian, and you can look this up, Lithuanian warm-up shirts with Grateful Dead on them. And they gave the Lithuanian basketball team the ability to sell Grateful Dead licensed Lithuanian basketball team stuff. Merch. Isn't that pretty neat? I didn't know the Grateful Dead liked basketball.
I didn't know they liked basketball either. That's great.
And then another Grateful Dead news: Jonah Hill will be playing Jerry Garcia in a Grateful Dead biopic.
Dude, that's a great choice. That is a great choice because I
We'll
feel
wait
like
and see.
Jonah Hill will, if they do him up right, he'll look kind of like Jerry Garcia.
He could, yeah. I don't
I
know. Is he
love
gonna
Jonah Hill.
sing? These
I love.
annoy me. Like, I don't need any more biopics. I just don't need them. Show me a documentary.
Isn't that what like a
All right. I
biopic
want to talk
is?
about if we might. You ready to move on here, sir?
Yeah, move on.
I want to talk about an important Christmas staple, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Now,
Oh
I had
boy.
always thought,
Is this
hey,
spoiler alert?
spoiler alert, I'd always thought, the way the song ends left Rudolph looking like a huge punk. Just like, oh, you're going to go down in history, Rudolph, yay! But
Well, save
meanwhile, a few
Christmas.
days ago, they were just ripping on Rudolph, not letting him do anything. And they just leave it as Rudolph is like, yeah, cool, I'm glad you guys like me now. But Jack Johnson has fixed this. And this song was out for a few years while I was already thinking that Rudolph was a punk. But Jack Johnson must have thought so as well. Because here's the last, so it says, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, you'll go down in history, right? And then Jack starts right in. They say, you'll go down in history. And then Jack says, well, Rudolph, I'm not going to sing, but he didn't go for that. He said, I see through your silly games. How could you look me in the face when only yesterday you called me names? And then the reindeer say, well, the other reindeer, man, they sure did feel ashamed. Rudolph, we're sorry. We're truly going to try to change. I love that. Rudolph was a punk. Now he's not.
Yeah, I mean it's beautiful actually.
Yeah. They left it like open to like bullies, and then your bullies are like, you're the man. And you go, thanks. I'm going to do the sleigh.
Maybe they just couldn't come up with words that rhymed well. They weren't lyricists like Jack Johnson back then,
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there was an extra verse they cut off. So, I mean, that's about it. I have a good LA story. It might take a little bit. Avatar reviews are good. Kirstie Alley, R.I.P. Kirstie Alley.
R.I.P.
Christine McVie.
R.I.P.
Um,
Yeah.
And in reboots and sequel news, that 90s show is coming. Yes, that 90s show.
They're going to reboot the 90s show, but they're not going to reboot Perfect Strangers with Sacha Baron Cohen and Thomas Lennon.
Not once we get the rights.
I posted that, and it didn't get as much fanfare as I thought, nor did Thomas Lennon or Sacha Baron Cohen even bother to like the post. I'm a little disappointed about that.
The nerve. All right, let me get my... All right, so here's my LA story. Okay,
All right,
so
go
back
ahead.
when I first moved to LA, I was a seat filler. So I would go to like regular shows. Sorry, I'm trying to queue up something here. Where are my videos? I would go to like regular
At the
old
top.
shows. Like my first one was the Best Damn Sports Show, period. And they would pay a large majority of the audience members to sit in the audience. It was like $8 an hour. And then you would just watch the show, and then, you would receive a check. Man, this is not going well. And so the first one I went to was the Best Damn Sports Show, period. Michael Irvin was super cool. He let some girl hold his Super Bowl ring during the commercial. Crucker was there, if you remember the Best Damn Sports Show. I didn't get to talk to anybody, but it wasn't bad. The bleachers were horrible. It was like sitting in bleachers versus chairs.
Yeah.
Let's move on to my second one. So this is the only other time I was an paid audience member. I get to this show. It's called American Superstars. I'm sitting in the audience. The host is Mark DiCarlo from Studs. You remember Studs? The show Studs?
No. What was Studs
Oh,
about?
man. It was like a raunchy dating show. It's kind of like the dating game. Like, hey, number 2, you're in the bedroom with this girl. What do you do? Stuff like that. And then they say something really sexual or innuendo. Anyway, it was like, if you watched it now, it would probably be atrocious. But anyway, Mark DiCarlo was the host, and it was called Superstars or something. We'll see. I forget. Superstars, I think. Anyway, so he brings in the judges, and then he brings out this little girl as the first contestant. And it's this little girl who sings America the Beautiful. It's perfect, wonderful. And then he brings out the second competitor. And it's this guy, he has a unicycle, and he's going to juggle. And right away, I'm like, that's Jamie Kennedy. And the guy next to me says, psst, psst, shh, shh, shh. They hate when you do that. And I'm like, oh. So basically, like, okay, now we're getting into LA. Everybody knows they're on the Jamie Kennedy experiment. They just don't F it up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or I think look, when you see this video, there's video. We'll show at the end here. You'll see, I knew it was Jamie Kennedy from forever away. So the trick of the thing was the judges, there were 2 judges that were from the audience. They weren't in on it. So what they did was they said really nice things about the girl that sang America the Beautiful. And then they said really mean things about Jamie Kennedy while they weren't there. About, I forget what his name was. And then they bring the 2 back out and they just say, oh, we picked the girl. And then Mark DiCarlo says, oh, but let's look at what you said about Jamie Kennedy's character. So then they play what the judges said, and the judges are like horrified that they said those things because Jamie Kennedy has laid out that his wife died and she always wanted him to follow his dreams, and he's laying it on. And that was pretty much it. And then Jamie Kennedy reveals that, hey, it's me, you've been X'd. And the best part about this story is there's video to back it up. So for everyone who's watching our podcast, sorry about those that are listening, go ahead and check out this footage and look at my big head. It comes in pretty soon after Mark DiCarlo hits the stage. See ya.
Bye, everyone.
And now, here's the host of Star Makers, Mark DiCarlo.
Now remember, the audience thinks that they're all watching a taping of a new show.
We have 2 lucky contestants. They were picked at random to show off whatever talents they may happen to have. The winner is going to go on to the next round, and the other contestant is going to go back to his boring hellhole life, whatever he's doing before he came here. Let's meet Sarah, Ron, and Massimo.
Keep in mind, Sarah is our actress, but Ron and Massimo think that they're real judges on a real show.
Let's meet our first contestant. Please put your hands together for Laven.
We really stacked the deck this time for our judges.
And now here's our competition, our contestant number 2, Mr. Ken Stedman. Ken, how are you?
I see you.
Good to have you here. Ken, tell us about, how old are you?
I'm 34 years old.
34, where are you from?
I'm from Schaumburg, Illinois.
All right, what are you going to do for us?
Well, like I like to say, it's my cycling, unicycle, juggling extravaganza.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
All right, here he is, Ken, and his unicycle extravaganza. Yeah, all right, give him a chance here, folks. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. This is awful.
I'm trying to make something of myself.
All right.